All right, guys, let us begin here today. So, today we're going to be talking about why today is one of the most important days of the year. And the reason why is statistics show that 92% of people have given up on their New Year's resolution by today. Which is a fascinating stat for everyone because what almost everyone sees in the stat is the 92%, and it kind of brings people down. But what I see in this stat is that 8% of people actually keep their New Year's resolutions. And that's inspiring because if 8% of people can keep their New Year's resolutions, we all can too. What does it take to be a part of that 8%? Who do we have to be to do this? So, first, let's look at the definition of New Year's resolution. New Year's resolution, so that we know what we're getting into, is Webster defines it as simply as a promise to do something different in the new year that will get you a positive result. Now that sounds easy, but after years and years of coaching hundreds of people, I've realized it's not easy to get us to do things differently in order to achieve a positive result. So I've come up with three shifts that I've observed over the 5 years now that I've been coaching. I'm pretty much been coaching my entire life in one capacity or another. So these are the three most important shifts that I see to make to be a part of the 8%. When you make these shifts, you will feel an ever increasing sense of well-being and success. You'll have a vitality, energy, and zest for life, and you'll have the confidence to sustain your growth, which is really deeply fulfilling. But if you don't make these shifts, I do believe that you'll become one of the 92% of people who stay stuck. And if you're stuck, you have the same kind of year over and over and over again, which leads to being stressed out, overextended, and ultimately burning out. So today's lesson is super important. So let me cut right to the chase and dive in. The first shift with me, if you've been around me for any amount of time, is always mindset. So the mindset that I believe that's one of the greatest mindsets in order to be in that top 8% is you must embrace your greatness. Now, I don't hear enough people ever talking about this and all the self help out there and all the success talks. I don't hear enough people talking about this. And what I feel like one of the most powerful quotes that I've ever seen is from Marianne Williamson. There's not one time that I read this that it doesn't grab me. So let me read it to you. Is our greatest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Okay, so I bet there's a lot of people that are listening to this and being like, I don't believe that at all. I'll take success, Derek. I'll take greatness right now. I don't think I have a fear of it. But I think if you look deep enough into your own psyche, you will see that this could be true for you. Um, I first became aware of this when I had the pleasure of getting to coach professionally tennis, and I had a player um, who I thought was is just as good as any of the top guys in the world. And he'd get right to the end of a match, and some reason, somehow, he would sabotage it. He would do something weird to lose right at the end, and it was 100% unconscious when he did it. But once I saw him do it over and over and over again, I actually started to realize that he had a deep-seated fear of success. That was the first time I saw that. It was sometime in my 20s. But I've realized now that it wasn't just him. I literally see it in almost everyone that I've met. That there's some fear of your own greatness that you have. So, what does that sound like to you? If you're like, you probably still don't believe me. Well, this is what it sounds like. The thoughts show up like this: is that you say things like, "Who am I to be successful? What will my friends and family think? What if I can't handle it?" This one's interesting too. That's not my personality. I'm an INTJ, or I'm a low D with a high I and a low C. I don't have the personality for success. Um, I'm so busy. I'm so overwhelmed. I can't even imagine doing more work. So those are some of the fears of success that I see show up in people. And the next question that I always ask myself when I notice some of my own limiting beliefs is, how do you overcome this and reprogram yourself for greatness? This is what I want you to hear is first understand that your greatness and your success requires you to do things outside your comfort zone. And every single time you do something outside of your comfort zone, you will experience fear. Fear are those thoughts that I was just talking about. And they might show up differently for you, different kinds of thoughts. but they're going to show up every single time. So in order to be great, you're going to experience fear. Okay. And the way to beat any fear is just have courage. Have the courage to play big in your life. Have the courage to become a great man or a great woman. Have the courage not to give in to your small self. Now, this may sound egotistical if you're listening to me, but it's actually the opposite, guys. It's actually humble to know that you are capable of greatness. It's humbling to know what you're capable of. It's humbling to know that you have untapped potential. It's humbling to say, I'm willing to change. It's humbling to say, I want to be a great man or a great woman. I want you to hear this. You absolutely have greatness in you. And my challenge to you right now is to embrace this greatness. The second shift to make in order to be in that 8% that can make changes in your life so you can become great is to have a powerful schedule that cuts out distractions. So I'm going right to the tactical right now. So we're shifting right out of mindset, and now we're going right into tactical. One of the worst feelings in life that I've felt before, and I experience it when I coach you guys too, is feeling so busy, but not feeling like you're making any progress in your life. So what I want you to take from this shift is how to make progress in your life. This is what I want you to hear. Is what studies show is that distraction and interruption lowers our productivity by up to 50%. So let me explain. When you sit down, you're going to do some task and you're interrupted by email, text, social media, whatever, you don't bounce back to your original focus. What they say is when you start multitasking, you start getting interrupted, when you go back to your original tasks, it actually takes almost 50% more energy. Okay, this is the key part right here. It takes 50% more energy to now complete that task. Okay, and that can triple or even quadruple the amount of time it takes to get things done. And I think this is one of the biggest things in our industry because we think we have to be on, we have to be getting back to somebody so quickly. Guys, I found this out in my own life the hard way. I used to. This is probably in my early 30s. I used to complain a lot. I'd come home to my wife and I'd say, man, I'm so busy. I'm so overwhelmed. And I used to complain to my team and all that. And one day, one of my teammates goes, Derek, have you ever really tracked exactly what you do all day? And I was like, no. Just check it out because you've got a pretty sweet life. And I was like, So this is what I found out when I tracked my own life is that basically my day was this. Wake up, I'd do some variation of taking a shower, getting dressed, messing around, get to work. I'd start working at 8:30 and I'd go home at 5:30 exhausted. Okay, so I'd open email, walk right in and I'd open email and then I'd start being reactive and I'd have some variation of getting something done maybe during the day, but I always had that feeling of being exhausted. And that was the day that I basically repeated over and over again. And so finally, I put a line in the sand when I started studying this stuff. And I changed my schedule to this. The new schedule was wake up, don't take a shower if you care to know. Go to my sunroom at my house. I'd work on my mindset and I would do the proactive sales and marketing duties every single day. I would also be very, very I still am. I'm very intentional about what does it take for me to win today. And I want to talk about this for a second, guys. I would also talk about who I needed to be when I would do that. So if I had a meeting, let's say at 12:30 with a client, I would say, I'm going to be great in that meeting, or I'm going to be a phenomenal listener with my meeting with Mr. Smith at 12:30. I was doing a presentation. I'd say, I'm going to bring a lot of energy to my conversation, to my presentation at 1:30 today. And so I would create these win the day checklists. And at the end of the day, I would just go back and check these off. This really changed for me. Then I would do exercise, then I'd shower, then I'd go be reactive until noon. And this is another key point that I want you guys to hear too. We'll go deep into this at Elevate, but is every single day I had intentional times, 12:30 to 3:30, that I would see clients, that I would have any kind of meetings so that I kept myself out of all that conversations that everybody always has, like, hey, do you have a sec to talk? I could just give them a link to my schedule or just say, hey, I have time today at 1:30, 2:30, or 12:30. What works best for you? I got out of, like, I still see this so often with so many people. I think it's the biggest time waster in our business, where people write back, well, I'm with somebody else right now. How does 1:30? No, at 1:30, I can't do this because of this, this, and this. Oh, okay, well, I can't do it then too. Well, how about this? And literally, we've spent so much time and energy trying to schedule time to talk on the phone. So hopefully this helps somebody out right here. And then I would have a firm stopping time. I coach my kids stuff. I've always done that. And so by having a firm stopping time at 4:30, it made me so much more efficient too. I can't tell you, because when you start to compact times that you can only get stuff done in a certain amount of times, it's literally like you've created like little mini goals throughout the day. But here's the deal that I want you to hear on this is, then from a discipline perspective, and this takes discipline, when I started doing a task, I did it all the way until it was complete before moving on. I'm going to say that again. Like, if you take anything from this from a tactical perspective today, I cannot tell you how much this gives you energy. I can't tell you how much this improves every area of your life. If you do one task, do it all the way till it's complete and then move on. Okay. And that was one of the things that takes discipline. When I was training myself on it, when I was tracking myself, it was literally hilarious, because I would watch myself go to ESPN, or I'd watch myself like check something on social or something. And I would literally laugh at myself. I'm like, this is ridiculous. What am I doing? Why can't I do? And I literally had to train myself. And that's the discipline part on it. But I cannot tell you how important it was, and how much of a difference, and how easy it became. I think you guys know my story, to do 111 million. It became so easy when I incorporated these key factors into my schedule. So hopefully that helps somebody out there on that. And this leads me to the last shift to make, is to serve with excellence. Okay. The number one way to grow your business is to serve your current clients and the people in your network with excellence. When you get this principle, everything changes. Most of us do great once we have a client. Most of us do. Okay. Like, a lot of us are great once we have a client. But I'm going to talk to you right now about a different kind of serving with excellence here. Your network wants a trusted advisor, and they want to be able to refer you as a trusted advisor. I want you to believe that. Okay. And this is the gut punch. This is a gut punch for everybody. And it was a gut punch for me, and it continues to be a gut punch for me too, is I believe that it's selfish to keep yourself a secret. Okay, and I want to say that again. I believe it's selfish to keep yourself a secret. And I believe it's probably the most selfish thing that we do in this business. And what happens is we tend to worry about getting rejected, the fear of rejection, or what somebody's going to say, or how I'm going to look, or whatever, than we do about serving. Okay. And it's simply like this, is if you don't believe me on this, just ask your network. I started doing this. You guys all know that I'm a little bit crazy, and I'm not scared to ask people questions. I'm not scared to ask people deep questions. I'm not scared to ask people how I can get better. So I started asking to my network these questions, and it started out like this. So when you guys go, well, where did this VIP client for life come from? Where did it come like this? Is I asked clients what would serve them most. And they actually said, dude, it'd be cool if you reached out to me every 6 months. That's where it came from. Okay. And I was like, wow, I thought I was bothering people. I thought I was like being an annoying sales guy. And then I started just asking people this question. This is the key question for everybody to ask your network is, would it serve you to be in my special VIP Client for Life program, where I reach out every 6 months to make sure you're always in the best mortgage for your needs? Now, we have realtors on this call too, so it's a little bit different for realtors. Let me just say it for realtors too. It's some variation of this. Would it serve you to be in my special VIP Client for Life program, where I reach out every 6 months to make sure you have everything you need for your home? Any contractors, any landscaping stuff, any of that stuff, would that serve you? And by asking that question, you'll find that there's a good 80 to 90% that would go, yes, that would. 10 to 20% would be like, no, I'm good. That's fine. Okay. So back to that part where I was saying I think it's selfish, is I think we worry more about that 10 to 20%. than the 80 or 90% that we can serve. I believe that that's one of the key things that holds us back right now too. I had somebody tell me this, and then I started becoming aware of it too. Is they said just think about it as like a waiter does at the end of the meal. Waiter comes up to you at the end of the meal and says, "Hey, would you like any coffee with that?" If you decline, they don't go back to their managers or call their wives or their husbands or something and complain like, "I did not believe that they didn't get coffee from me." They don't think like that. It's a straight just offer of service. Um, so that's really like I think a great analogy to think about like this. It really serves people with excellence to ask them if you want to be a part of your VIP program where you take care of them for life. And then you put them into the sales machine so that it is going to guarantee that you will reach out to them. That's the key part, right? So then when you go, "Oh, what's the deal with the sales machine? Or why am I doing that again?" Because here's the truth. You're going to get busy and you're not going to reach out to them every 6 months. That's the truth because that's willpower. That's where it comes in, right? Because we're good people. We have the intention. You want to be able to ask that question in pure integrity. But then if you ask that question and somebody says, "Yes, I want to be in your VIP program," and you don't follow up with them, now you're out of integrity and they don't trust you. Does that make sense? That's why we say, hey, listen, put it in there, let the automatic text go out on your own. Now you've kept your word to somebody. It's literally startling how much you can serve people when you do that. So, guys, this is another part of the question, or another part of serving with excellence. I believe it serves people with excellence too. If I want to talk about this really quickly, when they are saying thanks to you at the end of a transaction, and I know people are going, "Hey, Sarah, thanks so much. That was awesome the way that you took care of me." Right? They're doing that in the end of the transaction. Right there, that's called a referable moment. That's where you can say, "Hey, listen, I'm never too busy to take care of any of your friends and family too. I know it might look like I'm too busy. You see me all over social or this, but I'm not." And you know where that came from? If you guys don't believe me, ask your network this too. Ask them, "Why don't you refer me more?" And the number one answer that I got when I asked that question was categorically, because it appears like you're too busy and I don't want to bother you. Isn't that fascinating? But like at anything that I say, I'm not asking people to believe me. I'm asking people to say, "Hey, listen, go test it and see for yourself." Because these are based on surveys. These are real life conversation. That was startling to me, and it really, like, when I started finding that out, I was like, wow, I'm selfish that I'm not at least asking that, because they might have a sister or brother or somebody moving to the area, but they're going, "Hey, you know what? Sarah's just so busy. I don't want to bother her." And like, wow. And that's how we grow our business. Before I go to the next thing, let me just say that there's like some programs out there that I still see that are saying things like, "Hey, can you give me 3 names of people that you know that are buying houses?" That is not the way to get the most referrals, right? You guys all get this? Like what I just said is the true way to get the most referrals in here. So let me recap. Is in order to be in the 8%, the type of people that can make changes in their lives so they get phenomenal results in their lives, the first one is to embrace your greatness. Don't blow this off. I want you guys to see this, because I will tell you this. I truly believe it's number one. I believe it's our biggest limiting belief. And if you were in my brain and got to experience you guys, you would see that I actually experience you guys arguing for your limits. You'll literally argue sometimes with me, like, "Dude, I can't do this. I'm not this. That's not my personality type. I can't." Blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's literally like, and I sit there and I'm like, okay, from love, I'm not listening to that. And it's really amazing. So don't blow this off. I literally see this. And if anybody is sports fans too, you'll see this all the time. The cool thing about sports is it's quantifiable. Like you can tell, like my guy could tell if he's winning or losing, right? Sometimes in our own life, it's hard to know if we're winning or losing. But in sports, you can see it. And you'll see it all the time. People sabotage at the end. The underdog almost beats the team, but then they sabotage it. It's literally unbelievable. So just check it in your own life. The second thing is have a powerful schedule that cuts out distraction, because distraction, I believe, is the silent killer to you guys. I believe it's the reason why you feel like you're so busy, but you're not getting all the results in your life. Does that make sense? I really believe that that's what it is. Distraction and interruption. I believe it's number one. Because then if you're like me, where every time somebody says something, I'm like, let me go test it for myself. That's who I am. Please test this for yourself. And the way to do it is just track yourself. Literally do one day. Just do one day where you track yourself. Wake up every 15 minutes, set an alarm on your phone. And so you get it. And then just write down what you did the last 15 minutes. Literally, I think you'll be shocked at what it is. At least for me, I was like, no way. All I did was open email today. That literally was my realization. And then my teammate was like, told you. Like, that's real hard. I'm like, what? Like, literally, that was the extent of my proactive activities at one point in my career, open email. And then it was just reaction. And then I'd stay in that whole thing. That's all I did was open email today. But find it out for yourself in there. And then the third one, serve with excellence. Okay. We know like the number one way to get more clients to serve our existing clients, but also know that it serves your network. It serves your network to say that you're never too busy for any of your friends and family. It serves your network to put them in a VIP client for life program. It serves your network to have a program that actually guarantees that you will reach out to them every 6 months so that you do stay in integrity and so that you do serve this. Guys, all I can tell you is the results that we're seeing are absolutely through the roof. There's no reason for not every single one of you guys to be in the top 8%. There's not one reason for every single one of you guys not to have the best year of your life and then to do it again next year and to do it again next year and to do it again next year, because the stuff that we're teaching you, there's a compounding effect to it. That's all I got today, guys. Have an amazing year. We'll talk to all of you guys soon. If you need anything, please reach out. Have a great week. Bye-bye.